Hello, everyone. This is Martin here, and welcome back to another weekly update. We're looking at trading opportunities for the upcoming week, March the 21st to the 25th. And I'm looking forward to this great weather, as I'm sure most of you are. It's going to get a little bit warmer. We're into spring right now. I believe today, tomorrow is the first day of spring. And next weekend, we have Easter Friday. We have the Easter weekend holiday coming up. So, looking forward to a nice warm spring and eventually some really nice sunshine. So, today, we're going to continue with the theme of top-down analysis, and we're going to look at the current. We're going to look at the currency charts, and I always look at two things. One, I want to take a look and observe which currencies are stronger, which currencies are weaker, and I don't mean pairs. I mean currencies by themselves. So certain currencies made a lot of movement over the last week and a half, especially the euro. Because of the European Central Bank decision, the Europe currency has gotten a lot stronger, and also the recently with the on Wednesday the FOMC Fed rate decision from the U.S., basically sounding a bit of a dovish tone, which means a bit of a negative tone as far as current or future uh, rate increases. So I don't think the U.S. is going to increase their interest rates anytime soon, possibly not for a while again, and also coupled together with the statistics, economic statistics from the United States, which still aren't that fantastic. But coupled with all that, some currencies over the last week or so have gotten really strong, some have gotten a lot weaker. And we're going to take a look at that, starting with the Euro USD. We have the weekly chart again, okay? And you can see with the last week right here on this candle, we've pretty well reached the top of a trend line I've drawn in. So from here, price may just go down again or slightly sideways or maybe break out to the upside, okay? And this is what I see on the Euro Weekly. We're now going to switch to the Euro USD daily. Okay, you can see that right here. This is the daily chart, and you can see price on Wednesday with the FOMC rate decision. Um, Price really jumped up quite a bit for the euro and went up even higher on Thursday, but Friday came down and hit the resistance area. You can take a look to your left. This is previous resistance, and it's come down now. I believe price is going to come down further from here. And I've drawn in something new for you. This is an area where you can look for price to come down and then bounce up. So the idea, the trading opportunity is wait for a pullback, and I'll draw that in. So what we want to do is wait for price to come back, okay, and then wait for a bounce off this area, somewhere off this area, and go back higher and possibly break out above here again. So that's what I possibly see for this week, or you can just wait for a breakout above this price level here. I've left these green and red lines on to show you what has happened. A while ago, I mentioned that price would be going higher or much lower, but in this case, price bounced off the 50 moving average. This huge candle was as the result of the European Central Bank decision. Okay, you can see that right here. Price retraced, which is what I said. It should do, and then price has now gone up really high. And I last week I said buy at the breakout. I have three check marks, so that came true. And by that I mean the breakout of this candle, the high of this candle. You can see price went up much higher, and would have taken a buy stop order. You would have made approximately 100 or so pips. Okay, so next currency chart we're going to look at is the British pound weekly. Now, this is a very interesting pair. One of the this is the British pound has been one of the currencies that has really gained a lot of strength and traction over the last week or so, couple of weeks. Take a look here. You can see the this is a weekly chart, so it came down to here. And I did have this was drawn in already a week and a half, or a week ago, I believe. And you can see this huge pullback right here. So now we're in a counter trend, and this looks like a great pair for a counter trend trade. I believe this pair is going to go higher to at least this area right here, and that's the 21 moving average. And if it breaks that, it'll go eventually up towards the trend line right here. So you can also see here, I'm going to take this away. Take a look at the MACD. It's just starting to turn over. It's starting to weaken. The downtrend is weakening. So if the histobars get smaller, well, definitely the price is going to go a lot higher. Now, this is the weekly chart. Let's take a look at the daily. So you can see on the daily, it's gone. There's room for movement up to at least this area and at least to the 100 moving average. Do you see that right there with the dash line? So price, there's room for price to move all the way up there. And with a breakout here of this huge long white candle, if you place a buy stop order just above there, price has still got room for 100, 150 pips. Okay. So with this week, I'm saying wait for a pullback again down to here, or buy on the breakout above the high of these two candles right there. When I say pullback, wait for a pullback, that means price waiting for price to come all the way back down here somewhere in this area, and then waiting for a bounce to the upside, looking for bullish evidence for price to go higher. Okay, so last week I did mention we were in a counter trend, and because of this huge pin bar, this bullish pin bar, I'm sorry, here, price stayed above the 21, and I believe that price was going to go higher, and it actually did. So it did go higher, down, lower, and then up again. Okay, so that's the British pound. The MACD is now just above zero. Okay, and now we're going to get to the Australian USD. The Australian dollar has also been very strong. It just the last couple of days, it's come back down a bit. Hit this minor resistance area right here. Well, actually, it's major because if you draw this all the way back here, I can do that right now for you. You see that? Okay. So this area right here is a bit of a resistance area, but if price breaks this area, it's still got lots of room to move up higher. And also you can see the 100 moving average is coming down. Actually, I'll just move this trend line out of the way. There's the 100 moving average. So price still has room to move up to this area, which is resistance with the magenta rectangle and the 100 moving average. And there's the longer term trend line. Okay, you can see the MACD histobars have really gotten smaller, showing that there's a reversal in play, and the MACD is now turned above zero. So I believe price eventually is going to go higher, but we want to drill down to the daily chart. Okay, and we're going to do that right now. Australian USD daily, you can see that price went up quite a bit. On the Friday, it actually broke above the previous resistance area and above this the wick of this candle right here. It's gone up a lot higher. So usually after big movement up, there's a bit of a retracement. This is a bit of a pin bar. So I'm going to suggest that this week, wait for a pullback to this area. Again, this is new on the charts for this week. So you can wait for a pullback here and then wait for a bounce up, okay, or just wait for a breakout above here. And if it does, price has still got a long way to go. Eventually price could go another 160 pips higher, but first of all, you have to have some patience, wait for price to maybe come down a bit more. I believe on with the Friday, it's showing that the immediate strength has just weakened a bit. So I would probably, this might be good for a counter trend trade, and then another trade with a continuation of the trend to the upside. Okay, now we get to the going to move to the New Zealand USD weekly. Okay, now we can see again, this is a weekly chart. Okay, and even though I'm gonna do this. See, it wasn't a long downtrend, but now it's going sideways, sideways, sideways. You can see that right here, and it's going to continue going sideways, I believe, for a while. There will either be a breakout to the upside, to the downside. My kind of guess is that the breakout will be to the upside eventually. And the reason is because this is what's called an ascending triangle. You can see the bottoms here. Here's a bottom. Here's a higher bottom. So the lower lows are getting higher, whereas the resistance here in this area is static. So there's one touch, two touch, three touch, and it hasn't it hasn't broken out past this resistance area. Also, price right now is hanging just at the 50 moving average. So I expect price, if it gets above this previous resistance high here and breaks out, it's got a lot of room to move to at least the 100 moving average, but it could go sideways for a little while longer, for a couple more days. You can see the MACD here on the weekly chart. Okay, that on the weekly chart, the MACD histo bars are getting shorter, 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 and pretty well at zero now, meaning that there is upward pressure to the upside. The momentum to the downside has weakened tremendously. So I think maybe in the next couple of days, price may head up higher. Let's go down to the daily chart. You can see in the daily chart, we did hit a major resistance area. Take a look to the left side right here. You can see that. Okay. And so price bounced right back down off the resistance. I believe this might be a good counter trend trade. Price may come back down to this area right here before bouncing higher to the upside. So this week I'm saying be just aware. We are in a sideways mode right now. There is volatility, a lot of up and down movements with big, huge candles. So I'm going to suggest to be on the safe side, you can either wait for a pull back all the way down to here, and uh, and then look for buying evidence to the upside. So again, waiting for a pullback down to there somewhere, uh, and then waiting for buying evidence to the upside. So looking for one bullish white candle before placing another order, or altogether just waiting for a breakout above these two candles here. And if you're waiting for a breakout, then you would be placing a buy stop order. Okay, the MACD is above zero. The histo bars are just getting a little bit higher, which means there's upward momentum to the upside. Okay, now we get into the USCAD. Tremendous downward pressure on the US dollar. The Canadian dollar has strengthened quite a bit because of their tie into the oil industry. As you know, the oil has been getting stronger and the price of oil has been getting higher and higher. Coincidentally, the Canadian dollar has been getting stronger as well. So you can see we've broken a channel here. Here's a lower trend line. This is a weekly chart, folks. Okay, we've broken that, and price is also below the 50 moving average. This is the weekly, which means price could most likely come down further to at least the bottom of here. Okay, and we're looking to at least the 127.50, possibly down even further, 12700, 127.50. Okay, but if it breaks that area, price still can go a long way down to the 100 moving average, and you're looking at a total in total of about 450 pips or more. Okay, you can see the histobars are declining rapidly, and sooner or later the histobars may be below the zero level right here. Okay, so good opportunity. Just keep watching this, and I'm going to drill down to the daily chart, see if we can catch any more clues. Okay, so on the daily, here we go. We are in a downtrend. Now, this is what I want you to look at something else, folks. This is not a volatile downtrend. This has been a slow, steady, and almost like a harmonic downtrend, meaning that it goes down, up a bit, down, up a bit, down. It's like it's a smooth downtrend, and I don't see any reason why it's going to stop. It's not. I don't think it's going to reverse. I believe there's more room to the downside. We have broken the support here. So here on Friday we had a bit of it's almost like a bit of a bullish doji. So price may come back just a wee bit. You may want to wait for a bit of a pullback to this area or up a little bit higher before looking for a sell trade to the downside. Okay, or you can just wait and wait for a breakout below this candle, below the wick of this candle, breakout below there, and then price most likely will come to at least here. And if it goes lower, no, I don't have it on the daily chart, but if it breaks this area, it's going to go down a lot more, as I indicated. Okay. Um, Last week I said we were in a downtrend. Okay, there was caution downtrend because we were right here. It did go up, and I said look for the reversal. And guess what, folks? There's the reversal off the long term. See this orange line, long term trend line. It actually bounced up, and so you would have gotten some pips on a counter trend trade, but this candle right here is the big candle. This one is a engulfing candle, and as you know, when a candle engulfs the previous candle, that's a great indication of further movement to the downside. This is a bearish engulfing candle off of the resistance. In this case, the resistance is the 8 moving average and also the 21. So it's trending down. And what we have to do is assume that price is going to continue going to the downside. There's no reason to think otherwise unless there's big evidence showing that price will reverse. But so far, there is nothing on the charts that is showing evidence that price will reverse. The oil is getting stronger. The Canadian dollar is still getting a bit stronger, and the U.S. dollar, with all the news that's coming out of there, and their dovish take on the federal interest rates, or hold on the federal interest rates in the near future, that's all lending to a more powerful Canadian dollar versus the USD. Okay, so next we go to the oil. Just a quick look at the oil. Let's go to the weekly chart. Okay, you can see right here with this red dash line, that's a 200 moving average. So I believe price, there's a bit of it looks like a bearish pin bar. Price may come down just a wee bit. Then you can look for further continuation to the upside to at least this area, and we'll see what happens. But that's what it looks like on the weekly chart. So I believe there's still some upward movement. Okay, price may come down just a wee bit to about there, and then you can look for a bounce up to the upside again. Looking at the daily chart, you can see we had kind of a big gap. Again, it's hit the 200. So price is going to come down most likely a bit here, and then again you can look for a bullish activity to the upside. But perhaps over the next couple of days, price may be coming down a bit. Again, the MACD is well above zero. Okay, and now we get to the next chart, the U.S. Swiss franc. Now, again, the U.S. against the Swiss franc has been coming down. This is a weekly chart. Let me just zoom in a bit. Now, again, go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, 7 days, right? You can see this huge bearish engulfing candle off of a resistance area showing that the downtrend most likely would start, and it's starting, but there is a little bit more room to move from here down to this trend line. There's also the 100 moving average with this blue dash line. So let's see. Immediately, if price continues going down, we've got another, well, 130 more pips to go. So you can see down below the chart, the MACD, the histo bars are declining, which means the uptrend has weakened considerably, and most likely there's the downtrend is going to continue. So we want to switch now to the daily, and you can see right here we have on the daily chart we actually went below a immediate support zone right here. Okay, price is below on the daily chart. Price is below the 200 with this red dash line, and even though it's retraced a bit on Friday, I believe maybe it might go sideways 1 or 2 more days, but then I believe price is going to go down further to at least this area right here, which is the long-term trend line. Okay, so that's what I see this week. Downtrend, sell on the breakout. So if you want to do anything, you can either sell on a pullback, wait for bearish evidence, or sell on a breakout of these two candles right there. Okay, and now we get to the US Japanese pair. On the weekly, you can see, this is interesting, price has been going sideways now, although we had a huge bearish candle. Let me just zoom in. Okay, this after 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of funny weeks in a way that price was really going sideways. Nobody's winning, not the buyers or the sellers or the bulls or the bears. Nobody was winning. But now all of a sudden, bears have pushed price down, and we're all right at the long-term trend line. So I believe if price breaks down lower, it's going to come all the way down to the 200, which means the Japanese yen uh, is uh, is stronger at the moment than the U.S. currency. So against the U.S. currency, the Japanese yen is gaining strength. Okay, and it has been for about 6 weeks now, all the way back to this area. Take a look again. The weekly charts are very powerful because they do tell you what's going on. We had a long-term trend line down here showing resistance. Price would not go any higher. You can see price went up, down, up, but did never went beyond this area. So the highs were getting lower, lower high, another lower high, finally a big, huge bearish engulfing candle indicating further strength to the downside. Right in there on the weekly, this would have been a great opportunity to get in. And it was good for really good movement. How many pips approximately? About 500 pips. So if you take a look, let me just take this chart for a second. Here is the daily chart. Okay, let me just, there we go. So right there. Okay, and how would you play this? How would you have played that on the daily chart? Well, you would have taken a look at that and seen that price price went up, but price finally um, broke or breaks the trend line with this huge candle right here, getting in right there at the open of the next candle. Remember, this is the swing sell trade, folks. The simple swing sell trade. Getting in right there, you would have made 646 pips to date. Even waiting for a retracement, let's say if you weren't sure, getting in even around there, good for 331 pips. Also, take a look at the MACD. So let's take a look. The histo bars went up to 0 and then got large again, showing that the trend to the let me just put in this line. The trend to the downside was getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So again, if you would have gotten in uh, right there after the break of the trend line with this bearish candle, it would have given you some pretty good clues. Okay, so let's now switch to the daily chart, and you can see we're right at, again, prices hugging the support level right here. Again, price hasn't gone below, so what you've got to do is wait for a breakout below here, and if it does, then price most likely will go down further here. Over the past, I've shown you that price most likely will go down further, okay, as it has done here, and I believe once it breaks this area, it's going to go down to at least somewhere between these two blue lines, somewhere around there. Okay, so this week could go sideways a couple more days, wait, and then sell on a strong breakout to the downside. Okay. Okay, everyone, I'm back again, and there's a couple of other pairs again with the theme of strong versus weak currencies. These may be very good plays. Talking about counter trend, take a look at the British pound Australian weekly chart. What do we have here? We have a huge pin bar, which is coming off of support. Take a look what happened last time. Huge pin bar right here. It went up, went down to retest the support again, then pushed up with a couple of good bullish candles. Okay, and again, if you would have drawn a trend line, you see right there, get in at the after the break of the trend line right here, would have made some amazing pips. Again, look forward to this. This is a bounce off the support, except the difference is we're in a strong downtrend. You can see with the MACD, whereas before we were in an uptrend. But this is a counter trend trade only, short-term counter trend. So I expect price from here with bullish evidence to come up to at least this area right here. I believe the British pound is one of the stronger currencies. So this is one of the pairs that you may want to look at when it comes to trading. So if it goes higher, price is going to come up to at least this area. The other one, the British pound, New Zealand dollar, take a look. The New Zealand currency has been weakening by quite a bit. We are in a downtrend here, but this might be good for a counter trend up because again, you see, price went below the 100. There was a good bullish movement with better news coming out of Great Britain last week, and I believe the British pound is getting stronger. So I believe price here is going to go higher. This is a pin bar. Okay, and so if you want to place a counter trend buy trade, maybe a stop order just above here, that would be a really good idea. Let's go down to the daily. Okay, do I have that on the daily? Yeah, here's the daily. You can see that, right? So I believe price is going to go higher. We still have lots of room to move. Okay. And oh, that was the New Zealand. Hang on for a second. There we go. There's the daily. Okay. So you can see prices right here at the 21. Buy stop just above the high of that wick, and prices still got a long way to go up to here. Okay. So that's about it. Though there's one more pair I want you to look at. This is a cross pair, the New Zealand versus the Canadian dollar. New Zealand has been weakening over the last week or so. Canadian dollar has been getting stronger, basically, based on, because of their tie into the oil industry. So take a look at this. This looks like there's still more room to the downside for the New Zealand dollar versus the Canadian pair. Okay, this is the weekly chart, and the histo bars are getting smaller, smaller, smaller. All we have to do is look for the better entry. So the long-term chart, the weekly, shows you the overall trend, which in this case is down. Let's switch to the um, that's the weekly. Oh, just a second here. That's the weekly, and let's switch to the daily, and you can see we're looking for a breakout below the lows of this below the lows of these candles right here. We are going slightly sideways, but remember the big clue was this huge downward movement here. Okay, right there, because of the this was as a result, I believe, of the European Central Bank decision right here. Price has gone up a bit, just up a bit, but really it's not going higher than the 8 moving average. In fact, the 8 moving average is acting as a dynamic resistance. So again, we had a bearish candle on Friday. I believe the price is going to keep going down, but you want to wait for a breakout here, and it's going to go. Let's just draw in something right now. It's most likely going to go down somewhere to this area right here. Okay, so once it breaks down here, you've got lots of room to the downside, and that could be a great trading opportunity. New Zealand versus Canadian dollar on a Think Forex platform. It's not on on other platforms. It's not on the Axie Trader if you still have that as a demo account, but it is on the Think Forex platforms. Okay, so that's it for trading opportunities. Hopefully, this gives you some great ideas, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. Send me some emails if you have any questions. Take care. Bye bye, guys.